Are you guys ready to go? Staff? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Elkhorn City Council meeting. The meeting is called to order. I'd like to ask our city clerk to please call the roll.
All council members are present.
Would you all stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing afterwards for a brief moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The city clerk posted orders of adjournment of the March 10th, 2026 meeting and the agenda of the March 24th, 2026 meeting in accordance with state law, city council, and housing authority policy. We have a presentation on today's agenda for USDA tree grant update. I'd like to ask our Director of Public Works, David Richards, to come up to the podium and tell us all about this.
Mr. Mayor, I'm actually going to preempt Mr. Richards, if that's okay. And I wanted to introduce the City Council and the community to 7 new employees that are working for the City of El Cajon with the fire department. I'd actually like to invite them to come down. If they can come on down with Mr. or Chief Coe. Mayor and council members, it's my privilege to introduce 7 of our outstanding individuals that have recently joined our fire department as of yesterday. These are the new firefighters that will make Engine 208 possible and are funded through FEMA grant, which we got last year. Getting this many highly qualified individuals in such a short amount of time was no small feat. It took a lot of effort from a lot of individuals in the community and the city. I wanted to especially recognize our HR manager, Megan Blake, who's sitting in the back. She really managed this whole process. She quarterbacked it. She stayed really late every single night for a long time to make this happen. I also wanted to thank Division Chief Rob Latch, who was the fire management side of the house. And then also Louis Kinoshita, our firefighter paramedic, who helped us understand things from the floor's perspective. So it was really helpful to have everybody on board. And every department made sacrifices because all of HR's attention went to this. So any priority that was in another department became a back burner priority because this was priority number 1. So I thought it'd be useful for our new firefighters to introduce themselves, maybe share their name, where they grew up, and maybe a little bit of their background. So I'll start with you, gentlemen.
I'm Colin Gabasta. I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. I recently moved to San Diego about a year ago. My wife is in the Navy. We just had a baby girl 4 days ago, so very exciting. Thank you. In Chicago, I was a firefighter paramedic for 7 years. Like I said, my wife is part of the Navy, what brought us out here. So very happy to be here. I'm ready to get started, and I'm ready to serve the community of El Cajon. Thank you.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Stevenson. I was a firefighter EMT for Camp Pendleton for the past 4 years. Before that, I was in the United States Navy doing crash fire rescue for 9 years. And I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to serve the city of El Cajon. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I look forward to it.
That's fantastic.
Good afternoon. My name is Josh Knuckles. Originally from the Central Valley, but I served 6 years in the Navy as a helicopter air crewman. After I got out, I decided to stay in Southern California, and I'm really excited to be able to be in this opportunity, and everybody I've met so far has been the best, and I'm really excited. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacob Vanderhorst. I'm 21 years old. I grew up in Carlsbad, California. I was an explorer there with the Fire Explorer program in Carlsbad for multiple years while I was in high school. After that, I was an ocean lifeguard with Carlsbad and for California State Parks for 4 years. I got to participate in their EMS program in Ocotillo Wells working as an EMT. And I'm very grateful to be here and excited to serve the city of El Cajon, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Monty Hazlett. I was born in Okinawa, Japan. Grew up in a military family. I was raised all over San Diego. Before this position, I worked for the local ambulance provider, AMR, for a little over 2 years. and have been volunteering as a reserve firefighter for the last year and a half. Excited. Thank you for this opportunity.
Excellent.
Good afternoon. My name is Isaac Cruz. I was born and raised in New York City. Joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old and served 10 years in the Marine Corps as an infantryman, as well as a combat instructor. I've been a reserve for Heartland Fire and Rescue for the last year and a half, and I am very humbled and grateful for the opportunity that everybody has put together for us.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Joseph Spulos. I'm 33, originally from San Jose, California. My wife is a nurse here locally in pediatrics. We have a year-and-a-half-old little boy. I've been a paramedic for the last 2 years in the city of San Diego. Kind of started this whole EMS, started with COVID, saw a need. My family lives here locally in El Cajon, so I'm proud to be able to serve the public. Thank you.
Well, thanks.
I just want to say thank you so much for your steadfast support to the city manager's office, to HR team, to finance team. This has been a team effort, and really, really excited to be able to get this project across the finish line. Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Council, one of the things that we noticed as we met them yesterday, in fact, our deputy city manager, Marisol Thorne, recognized how diverse their backgrounds are, from where they grew up, the types of jobs experience that they bring. That's going to be a tremendous asset to the city. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say we probably have a future fire chief in that group right there. So anyways, we're excited to have them. They're going to be a big part of the future of our fire department. So thank you, City Council.
Well, thank you all for all the hard work you did to get here. I know it takes a lot to get to this spot. And good luck with everything you do. Gary?
I know it's not easy being a firefighter, but the public will love you, and you save lives and you put your lives at risk, and all of us really appreciate that. So thank you so much for being on board, and welcome.
All right, thanks. Okay. Now, is Richard still here, or did you run him off? Okay.
He's still here.
Aaron Jones, our Deputy Director of Public Works, is going to give tonight's presentation an overview. So I'm going to turn it off to him. If you haven't met Aaron Jones yet, he's one of the most dedicated city employees that we have. We're very fortunate to have him leading the operations department over at Public Works. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Aaron. Nice to see you.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, my name is Aaron Jones, and I'm the Deputy Director of Public Works. Today, I'm providing a brief update on the City of El Cajon's USDA tree grant program. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Mike Pallett and Robert Wrightson from West Coast Arborists, the city's tree contractor, who are with us today. They're right back here. And they've been instrumental in supporting the implementation of this program. So this grant is part of the USDA Forest Service Urban and Community Forest Program. The program supports tree planting, maintenance, and related urban forestry initiatives. It aims to expand the urban tree canopy and maximize environmental benefits with an emphasis on disadvantaged and underserved communities. It also places an emphasis on outreach, education, and long-term tree care rather than focusing solely on planting. So the City of El Cajon was awarded a total of $834,965 through this grant. Of that amount, approximately $810,000 was budgeted for a contract with West Coast Arborists to plant, inventory, and maintain about 750 trees through November 2027, including establishment watering. An additional $25,000 was set aside for community outreach. Outreach was an important part of the program because we wanted residents to understand what was happening in their neighborhoods and have an opportunity to participate. This included distributing information about the grant and community events such as Haunt Fest and the city's tree lighting event, as well as canvassing tree planting areas and distributing door hangers so residents could request certain types of trees in their area or let us know if they did not want a tree planted in front of their property. One of the key requirements of this grant was that trees be planted in disadvantaged areas. Working with our tree services contractor, we overlaid the grant's disadvantaged community mapping with available open parkway locations throughout the city. That process identified more than 750 viable planting sites, including locations in front of both single-family and multifamily properties. In total, we planted 767 trees, which was slightly above our original target. A few extra trees were included to account for potential damage, removal requests, or other adjustments during implementation. The trees planted were selected from the city's approved parkway tree list, and 8 different species were used to support a diverse and healthy urban forest. So here we have the different tree species. This included the western redbud, bottle tree, Brisbane box, gold medallion, jacaranda tree, Chinese flame, fern pine, and New Zealand Christmas tree. So using a mix of species helps improve the long-term health and resilience of the city's tree inventory. So tree planting for this grant was completed in 2 phases covering areas all across the city. This is a map of phase 1, which occurred in January of 2026 and focused on neighborhoods surrounding Renette Park, as well as the areas north and south of Washington Avenue between Anza Street and Dorothy Street. This phase included planting of approximately 350 trees. And this is phase 2. This was the final planting phase and took place in February and March of 26. This phase added approximately 400 trees in the neighborhoods north and south of the Interstate 8, generally between Ballantyne and East Main. So one important point is that a very large portion of this funding is dedicated to long-term tree survival. Approximately $650,000 of the contract cost is for establishment watering, which is critical during the early years to help trees survive and become established. Looking ahead, the remaining outreach funding will continue to support residents' education and tree care efforts in the planting areas. So overall, the grant has allowed the city to expand tree planting in disadvantaged neighborhoods, increasing future canopy coverage, and invest in long-term success of the program. So that concludes the presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions? Michelle?
Hi, nice presentation. Thank you for bringing that. Question, who is responsible for watering the trees planted in the parking strip?
So for this grant, West Coast Arborist is watering the trees through November of 2027.
Okay, perfect. So West Coast will come out and water the plants?
This is on a weekly, or we're even stepping it up to twice a week based off of the needs.
Because it's been so hot. All right, thank you.
Phil? Oh, sorry. I was going to just go down the line, but you go ahead, Gary.
Are these trees relatively drought tolerant?
So we worked with West Coast Arborists to get our best selections that were out of our approved tree list, that were drought tolerant, sized appropriately, and we felt had the best survivability.
Thank you.
Steve?
Do you keep, like on the city's website, a list of the trees that you're planting so that other people can say, hey, those are probably good trees to select for our house or neighborhood?
While those are on our GIS layer, West Coast Arborist maintains our entire inventory, and that shows maintenance records, the type of tree, how long it's been there, but I don't believe that is available on our website.
I think that might be an interesting page on our website to let people know, hey, here are the trees or shrubs or something that would do well in El Cajon, and it would make people purchase things more intelligently to improve their house. So that's a suggestion.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
How are the tree planting locations determined?
So we took the required disadvantaged map and then worked with West Coast Arborists to look at our available tree planting locations within that map range, and then tried to spread those areas out throughout the city.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any speaker cards for this item?
No speaker card, sir.
Okay. And it's just a presentation. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Consent items. We're now at consent items. Consent items are routine matters enacted by one motion, according to the recommendation listed below. With the concurrence of the City Council, a council member or person in attendance may request discussion of a consent item at this time. Council members, do you wish to pull any of the consent items? Staff?
No, sir.
Speaker cards for this, Angela?
No speaker card, sir.
I'd like to make a motion then to approve the consent items.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Hold on a second. Graham, did I miss the,
You missed changes to the agenda,
yeah,
which I do have some.
perfect. Are there any changes to the agenda? And Graham, I think you have one.
I do. Mr. Mayor and members of the council, I'd recommend that we, after consent and public comment, that we actually move the joint council item number 17 up right after public comment. Then we take the public hearing listed as agenda item number 8, and then we break into closed session on agenda item 20, and then follow the rest of the agenda as currently outlined.
Okay. Thank you, Graham. That's. Did you guys have any changes? Okay, then we're good to go. Let's go to. We just did consent items.
We have
Public
to make a
comment.
motion to approve the agenda
Oh, yes,
changes.
please.
I
I'm
believe.
sorry.
I'll make that motion to make the agenda changes per the city manager.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right, now we're at consent, public comment. At this time, any person may address a matter within the jurisdiction of the City Council, Housing Authority, successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency that is not on the agenda. Comments relating to items on today's agenda are to be taken at the time that the item is heard. Please note that state law prohibits discussion or action by the City Council on items not on the agenda. Therefore, this is not a time that the City Council will be answering questions about issues you raise. However, we are taking note of the matters that you bring to our attention and will refer them to the City Manager for follow-ups as needed. An item may be placed, of course, on a future agenda. Angela, do we have any speaker cards for public comment?
We do, sir. We have 3. First one is from Paul Garibay.
Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, council members. I just wanted to relay, I want to thank Michelle, Steve, and Gary. I know you guys took my call Saturday night from that accident we had. Once again, another vehicle accident on Washington. So was watering my front lawn. I have the perfect view of the street. I don't know how fast our car was going, but it sounded pretty quick, to the point where down the street you heard the impact of the collision. So luckily, the vehicle didn't make it into the mobile home park. But I think it's something we need to start addressing as far as what we're going to do with that sector. It just seems like that's a problem area. I've been up here now for over 2 years advocating on that street as far as that corridor. So at the end of the day, I don't want the city liable for this, because at the end of the day, there's been municipalities that have been liable for incidents where residents are coming in and expressing what the problem is, and then next thing you know, the city's on the hook for, we don't want a fatality on that area. So I wonder if it's something we can kind of push as far as what's it going to take to put a stoplight in that area. You have such a stretch between Hamishaw and First. It's a drag strip every night. And unfortunately, I'm the only one that's advocating. I wish some of the neighbors would be up here, but I actually sacrifice my time on my other duties that I have, and I come up here and advocate for them. So I don't know what we can do, feature item agenda, but we need to take action on this as far as what we're going to do with the speeding cars there. It was a single car collision, but I was still able to give my statement to the officer there at the accident. Told him I saw the car zoom by, and I don't know how fast it was going, but it was pretty darn quick. So so I leave it all into your hands. And once again, I thank you all for taking my call, and hopefully we can move forward with a resolution in that area, because it's just becoming popular for the wrong reasons. So, thank you.
Thank you, and your comments are well received. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, I believe the first name is Adam, last name Reed.
Well, sir, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor Wells and city council members. I'm here on behalf of Mama's Kitchen and on behalf of our CEO, board of directors, staff, and volunteers. Thank you for your continued support and for considering Mama's Kitchen as a recipient of the Community Development Block Grant funding. Mama's Kitchen has proudly served El Cajon residents for over 30 years, providing home-delivered, medically tailored meals to critically ill individuals who are low income and at risk of malnutrition due to conditions such as HIV, AIDS, cancer, type 2 diabetes, congestive heart failure, and kidney disease. In fiscal year 2026 to 27, Mama's Kitchen anticipates delivering a total of 47,430 medically tailored meals to 161 low to moderate income City of El Cajon residents. Funding requested from the City of El Cajon CDBG program would directly support delivery of 20,916 of those meals to 71 LMI El Cajon residents. Our clients face serious health challenges that limit their ability to shop, cook, or maintain proper nutrition. Many live alone or care for dependent children and rely on our medically tailored meals to manage their condition, avoid hospitalizations, and maintain quality of life. One client recently shared, and this is quote, "After my breast cancer diagnosis, my world turned upside down. During my 6 months of treatment, Mama's Kitchen provided more than just meals, they offered a lifeline. There were days where I couldn't get out of bed, and having meals delivered was a huge relief. I'll miss the friendly conversations with volunteers who made a tough time a little brighter. Thanks to Mama's Kitchen, I'm now heading towards remission with renewed strength," end quote. So last year, 96% of our survey responding clients reported improved or stabilized health due to our meals, and 89% reported fewer ER visits or hospitalizations. For 35 years, Mama's Kitchen has never turned away an eligible client or charged a fee. Your recognition and partnership empower us to continue this essential work in El Cajon and to help our most vulnerable neighbors heal with dignity. Thank you for your time and support.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Next speaker is Brenda Hammond.
Hey, Brenda.
Hi. Hi, Graham. Don't get excited what I'm wearing. You know what that means, right? I'm teasing you. Hi. So I just want to remind everybody, with all the stuff that's going on, we got to stop having this separation of public, parties and political parties, religions. We got the red and the blue. That makes purple. Okay, you add a little more red, so it makes a deep purple. And then don't forget, I'm not going to crack.
All right.
We have one more speaker, and it would be Andre Smith.
Just thought about her.
Ready? Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, my name is Andre Smith. I'm a victim of a hit and run on Washington Street in El Cajon, and I'm having problems getting the information from El Cajon police. They treat me like a suspect instead of a victim, and the statute of limitations is almost up. But I was just trying to talk to the mayor about their conduct. I got kicked out this morning because I was trying to get the information of the guy that hit me. he had no insurance. And like I said, I'm pressed for time to get the driver accountable and the owner accountable. But I'm having problems getting the information from El Cajon police. It's been almost 2 years. Statute of limitations is up next month. So I try to go to the mayor's office, and it's just hard to get to the mayor. So, like I said, I went to the DA's office. I guess my next step is go to the feds. I'm just trying to get some basic information from El Cajon police, and not giving it to me. So I don't know what my next step.
Well, I'm sorry you've had trouble getting hold of me. You can leave your phone number here with the clerk, or you can call Tracy in my office, and we set up a meeting in the next day or two.
I talked to Tracy several times.
I'll tell Tracy to make sure she sets up a meeting.
Okay.
I'll come out and meet you somewhere.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm really sorry about your troubles.
That's the last of our speaker cards.
Okay, then. All right, let's go back now to 17. This is a joint councilmember report from Councilmembers Goebel and Ortiz. Who would like to take the stand there?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I dare say all of us, the number one issue that has surpassed homelessness now is speeding. We hear from people all the time about speeding in the city and the issues related to that. We had one scheduled, a town hall, an all-city town hall, scheduled in November as part of our annual goal-setting things, but I think we need to move that up. We're just hearing speeding on all sorts of different streets. Of course, the big crash at Hamasaw and Gustavo a couple weeks ago was certainly a very serious crash. And I think we would like to see if we can move that all-city town hall on the issue of speeding to sometime in the next 45 days, and that's our proposal.
Nothing really to add other than it seems like in the last 4 years, and we've been having these residents come from all across the city, from all different parts of the city, really, saying that speeding is becoming worse and worse. And so I think responding in a formal way to those residents is got to be paramount. So we are requesting our colleagues come alongside us and task the city to set something up. We've had great success with town halls in the past, with our homeless town halls, with the Measure J initiative as well. And so I'm confident that staff can come up with a creative way to not only get information out to the public, but also solicit some information from them.
I'd just like to ask Graham, what do you think of this timeline for this? Does that work with your staff time?
We'll just reprioritize things that are on the city council action plan, but we can make that happen.
Okay. Well, let's make a motion then. And
Excuse me, sir, I do have some speaker cards.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
I have 4 speaker cards. First one is Anita Stewartson.
Hello, Ms. Sturgeon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name's Anita Stewartson, and I've lived in the Granite Hills area for 45 years. I'm the admin for the Granite Hills Neighborhood Watch. I am also a member of the Rancho San Diego, El Cajon, Crest community groups, and I recently became a member of the Gustavo Street Neighbors, a group created specifically to address the recent increase in horrific and increasing accidents on several of our main corridors: Hamishaw, Washington, Main Street, Granite Hills Drive, La Cresta. We are seeing and hearing of many accidents caused by drivers and riders who just don't care to obey the laws that they seem are above them. They are untouchable, they think, and that they do not have consequences. I mention drivers and riders because they are both an issue. I mentioned areas of our community that are city and unincorporated county areas. I know that it becomes complicated trying to work with all these agencies involved. For example, I was trying to address the issue of parents parking in bike lanes along Granite Hills Drive near Montgomery Middle School. I went to the school itself, I went to the district offices, I went to the El Cajon Police Department and the California Highway Patrol. I was told at each of these places that we needed more volunteers, and then it was somebody else's jurisdiction. Now, I know that e-bikes are a huge issue recently. I ride one myself. I enjoy it very much. But this is a distinct issue with level 3 e-bikes and e-motorcycles. They are getting lumped all together. These particular bikes have gotten way out of control. Riders that do not know the rules of the road without lights and helmets, wearing dark clothing, not signaling, carrying passengers without a passenger seat. This is scary and a risk for drivers, especially at night. I brought up this example because we do live in an area where our borders crisscross, sometimes in the middle of a street or one side of the street to the other side of the street, like Hamishaw and Granite Hills Drive. Do we have representation today, along with this council, that includes the CHP and possibly the sheriff's office? Do we need to schedule a jointly held town hall meeting, as you were saying earlier? That would be wonderful, to address the entire corridor, a multi-agency approach. If not, how do we make that happen? We want things made right again, restored. We want to see more actual patrolling. We want to stop the ones who are breaking the law and endangering all of us with wild recklessness. We need more than another red light and stop signs, flashing lights, and speed notification sites. We need more monitored, reduced, and enforced speed limit corridors in these areas, specifically and citywide as needed. Please don't make us keep coming back again and again. Please don't let this continue to escalate as it is. Listen to us, hear us, fix it. Find a way to make it, find a way to add more patrols, find a way to make our community safer. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next speaker is Lori DeBus.
Hello, welcome.
Hi. Good afternoon, Mayor Wells, council members. I'm extremely nervous. Thank you.
Everybody wants you to succeed.
Well, I'm very touched, first of all, that we pledged allegiance to the flag. Thank you. A moment of silence. That was very heartfelt. I wanted to come to you to address the issues that we're having at Hamishaw, along with my neighbors. So, nerves.
Take your time.
I live, and I'm a homeowner in the Hamishaw Greens complex there, so Hamishaw and Gustavo. Hamishaw, coming from Rancho San Diego into El Cajon, there has to be an imaginary line or a dividing line or something that's just invisible between county and city. Somewhere in there, we are really struggling with the speeders that come through there. My windows are open at night. I hear them ripping and roaring through that area, and it is, to understate it, it is out of control. It is prolific, and it continues to be a real issue. I don't know how the accident that happened on March 8th, where I just came upon that right after it happened, how they survived that accident, because no one should have walked away. It was horrific that a car would be torn in half. I hear many people making suggestions of rumble plates or a roundabout or something because I really don't feel that the lights, et cetera, you know, the arrow lights and flashing and slow down and speed reduced ahead are really effective. I really think that we need to just stop it. Something has to interrupt the intensity of the traffic flow, and I would love to have the people on the county end of things and the city end of things get together, collaborate, and find a resolution to bring this to a halt, get it under control. This isn't just a safety issue because it's also a financial issue, and I'm acknowledging the time. Because of the damage done to 2 of the units that are facing Hamishaw with vehicles going into the A units, that's created a lot of property damage. And I can just tell you that financially it's also affecting my community. In 2020, our policy for the complex was $31,000 for the year. This year.
Just one sec. Her time is up, but I'm going to give her a little more time because we had a kind of a slow start. So take another 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you so much. This year, the budget for our insurance for the complex is $544,000. So if you can imagine, you can do the math on that, but that is extraordinary. Our HOA has now at $659 a month, and that is primarily for our insurance policy. Residents live in fear. I've talked with, have I already exceeded the 30 seconds?
You're okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think I'll just end with this. So safety just should not depend on the jurisdiction, and it should not be optional. I mean, we just have a lot of people and the community that are at risk and in their own homes at risk when they're sleeping. So thank you so much.
Of course. Can you tell me again where you live? What part of town?
I live just, my door opens up on Gustavo, but my address says Amistad. So it's the very first, I'm within 1 block from Hamishaw. I'm right there in that little community.
Yeah, I know that. I know that community. Okay.
Yep. And I haven't even talked about Gustavo because someone else is going to talk about Gustavo. But
You know, my wife got rear-ended at that stop sign by somebody going incredibly fast, and so I understand what you're saying.
thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really, really thankful. I'm thankful for your response in our Facebook chat or Facebook group that we've put together, and the interest in addressing this with a town hall meeting. I'm so happy. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming, and you did great.
You did a great job. We're always happy to hear from the residents because you're our eyes and ears. And the reason we're here is because we work for you. And I had a traffic issue before I was on the council on my street, and I know how terrible it is. My wife and my 3-year-old boy almost got hit by a car going out of control when they're going to the mailbox.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I understand, and whenever, I found out whenever someone speaks in public, 99% of those people in this room want you to succeed. We want you to succeed too. It's important. We care about you.
Thank you.
And you can go to the city website, and there's a phone number for me, and you just call me on that, and I'll call you back.
Okay.
Within 24 hours, because I have to check this every day because it goes through email.
Of course.
But if you feel more comfortable talking to me one-on-one on the phone, that's great. And there's probably more you want to tell me.
That would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate that so much in your time. And I also have been a resident there for 18 years, so this has been something, it isn't like it's just been the last couple of years. I've been there for
The number one job of local government is to keep their citizens safe.
Oh, thank you.
And we spend 70% of our budget doing that. So all of you there are very important to all of us. I know these guys for a while. I think I can say that.
Well, I have voted for you guys, so thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Diane Correa.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. This is my first time here. I'm Lori's neighbor. I don't live in the condos. I own a house on 1601 Gustavo, so I'm a little bit further from her. But I can hear accidents from where I am. And as a mother of 3 with 2 teenage drivers, when I'm at Chase, and I invite all of you to just drive, or not Chase, sorry. When I'm at Gustavo and Hamish, I'll just drive down, stop at Gustavo, where I would make a left into the condos where Lori lives, and just you can feel those cars coming straight on. And they're gonna hit you head front because it's that curve, they're going really fast. And I think my husband's told us just turn on Granite Hills, don't turn on Gustavo, just take the back streets. And we tell our kids the same thing because they're unexperienced drivers. But just the fact that from Gustavo to Chase, there's no other light, there's no roundabout, there's no K-rail, there's no speed bumps, wake-up bumps, there's like nothing. Kids knows that this is the perfect street to race on. The kids from Valhalla, I take my kids to school every day. I don't have them walk on that street for that same reason, because I know someone can totally we've lost lives on that street. We've had people killed. Just last year, someone plowed into someone's home where Lori lives, and they just happened to be in their bedroom. The car ended up in their living room. If they were in the living room instead of their bedroom, they would have died. This car that was split in half had a 5-year-old sitting in the back seat. That could have been me. That could have been my kids, could have been you coming to my neighborhood. It's bad. It's really, really bad. So after I walked out that day, I talked to Lori. We created the Gustavo Street Neighbor, which where Mr. Goebel commented. In less than 24 hours, we had 84 neighbors sign up to join our group. And it's just to talk, to get together and be like, what can we do? Because I know that you guys do your job, but it also takes on our part to come together and to be a voice and to ask for help. Because I've always told my kids, you can't get help if you don't ask. So I'm here to ask, like, what do I need to do? Who do we need to email? We have a neighborhood meeting that's going to be April 24th, 26th, outside of my house, in this little alley on the 1600 block. We wanted to see if we can invite the news or whoever that can come out there and just listen to our neighbors and ask them, like, what do we need to do? What can we do collectively as neighbors? Because this can be our grandbabies, our children, ourselves, our firefighters. Like, they're out there, things happen to anyone, and it's ridiculous, the amount of accidents that we have on that stretch. It's such a long stretch with no light, nothing from Chase to Gustavo. That's a really, really long stretch. There has to be some engineer, some traffic specialist can go out there and just look at it. It's just to save lives. Someone can, and if it doesn't take their life, it'll leave them as a quadriplegic, or I don't know. I don't know what needs to be done, so I'm just here to petition. And what can I do at this neighborhood meeting that we're gonna have? Who can we invite? Who do we need to email? Who do we need to call? And I will use my home and get voices, and so that we're all on the same page.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming. We're about to vote on having a town hall. This is a difficult problem, and we've all been scratching our heads trying to figure out how we can do it legally. You know, I asked the city manager if we could just confiscate cars, because I think that would get people's attention real fast. But unfortunately, they don't let us do things like that.
I mean, if a police officer needs to meet any type, just park right there. He would make mad tickets because it's crazy.
Well, let's put our heads together and figure this out. But thank you for coming. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Last speaker is Paul Garibay.
Hello, sir.
Hello, it's me again. So, well, I'm glad there was other people here to advocate on what's going on with the city. I think we've kicked the can down the road enough. I think I was here in 2024, spoke about Washington. I've been speaking about speed within the city, I don't know how long now. The City of El Cajon Police Department always posts things on Facebook of we did this, we did this, we did this. But I never see anything on how many moving violations or how many citations have been given out. I've seen numerous times, I'm sitting at a red light, making a turn or going straight. 3 or 4 cars pass by in front of a police officer, and they choose not to engage with the violator. Number 2, I've taken many days off of my personal days, and I've sat in certain corners, just like Washington at the Elks Lodge. And I've got a log of how many cars I've seen pass super speed. I've yet to see the motor pool out there. How many motorcycles do we have in the motorcade that are enforcing traffic laws? So I think the citizens are spoken. I wish there would be more, but obviously there's more going to be coming and addressing it. And at the end of the day, the citizens are holding you accountable because we are the ones that make you enforce the rules. You are elected officials. So obviously, let's make it about the entire citizens of El Cajon now. Let's focus on this. Let's not deviate. 2 years ago, we talked about the same thing, having a town hall. That never happened. It was the same time we talked about some monument in front of the old police station. Where are we at with that? We haven't done anything with that. So we've talked about it, let's be about it. So like I said, I moved here to the city of El Cajon 9 years ago, and I love living here. And I think it's something we just need to act on. And I think more citizens, as time progresses, are going to come up here and speak about it. But I think it's almost like a state of emergency the city of El Cajon has now with traffic enforcement. You see it in San Diego. You see those motor pools out there working overtime. I don't know if you received any federal grants to address this. I know other cities have used that money to reduce speeds, install medians, et cetera. So I don't know what else we can do with El Cajon. But I think it's time to hit them hard and fast with the motorcade out there just writing citations, even police officers. I know they're overwhelmed, they're underpaid, you're understaffed, but at the end of the day, it's about city safety and the safety of the citizens. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, well, it's back to council. I'm just looking for a motion.
Actually, council, I have a suggestion. I think there's two things that we heard. One, I think there is a need to have a citywide town hall about speeding. But I think what we heard about what's happening on Hamishaw and Gustavo is not really a citywide issue. It's a very isolated issue. We've already started some dialogue with city manager's office and engineering staff. I think there's value in having the citywide town hall that would include the entire city council. But I think a neighborhood meeting with city staff would be useful too. We can share some of the ideas that we have that are both long-term and short-term that have impacts on neighborhood that some people may not like actually, but I think could have some impact. So if the council's okay with that, staff would like to recommend that be the motion, that city staff set up a staff neighborhood meeting with those folks in that specific neighborhood, and then we'll also set up the town hall meeting citywide with the entire city council.
Yeah, it looks like they've already got 80 people on the list, so.
Correct. We'll work with that. If the council wants to go that direction, we'll work with that group of those that left their contact information, and we can set up a time that makes sense for everybody.
Oh, thanks, Graham. Good input. Okay, if somebody would like to make a motion addressing the two items.
Okay, I'll make a motion to have a staff participating town hall meeting for the Gustavo Hamishaw group, and also separately a all-city town hall, both of which should occur in the next 45 days.
Second.
Right. Moved and second, please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Okay, we're going to take a brief detour and go to closed session. And I'm going to ask our city attorney to recite the titles and lead us in the closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. The council is going to meet in closed session on item 20, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion then to adjourn the closed session.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a few minutes to conclude the meeting.
And I want to thank all of you for coming here today. I really appreciate it. Feel free to come again. We want to hear what you have to say.
Thanks for waiting for us. I'd like to ask our city attorney to report on the actions taken in closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council met on item 20 as listed on the agenda for closed session. Direction was given, no reportable action was taken. Thank you.
Okay, now let's see how organized I am. Thanks to Mr. Graham Mitchell, everything's been moved around. I got to figure out where we're going.
I think we're back to agenda item number 8, which is the public hearing.
8? Okay, there it is. Okay, thank you. All right, we have 2 public hearings on today's agenda. Item 8 is to consider an appeal of the Planning Commission's decision, and staff will tell us about this.
Thank you, Mayor. Noah Alvey, Deputy Director for Development Services. So again, this is an appeal of the Planning Commission's decision denying a request to allow a temporary tent for more than 180 days. So the subject site is at the corner of East Main Street and Walter Way. It's addressed as 1324 East Main Street. The site's just over an acre and is developed with a 5,600 square foot building. Probably familiar with that as the former Coco's restaurant. Currently, the building isn't suitable for use. That's because the internal support structures inside the former restaurant were removed by a prior tenant to the current property owner and tenants of the site. So it's not suitable for use inside that building until additional modifications are made. And then lastly, I just want to point out the existing temporary tent structure that we're discussing today is currently located along the northerly property line. That's the white square right above where it says subject site. So here's an image of the property. This is the tent and temporary facilities that are at the property. This picture was taken yesterday. So the project timeline started about 13 months ago. That was in February of 2025. It was at that time that staff had observed a tent being erected and notified the applicant of a need for a temporary use permit, or TUP. At that time, staff had communicated with the applicant that the tent could only be approved for 180 days and that they should really take action to look for an interim facility or location where they could conduct the activities that they wished to conduct. The formal TUP application came in on March 19th of 2025 and then was approved on April 22nd. So when it was approved on April 22nd, it was a condition of approval that it can only be operated for 180 days from when they get final occupancy. And so that 180 days ended in November 24th of 2025. It was at that time that the applicant did submit a new temporary use permit application requesting for 6 additional months. The director evaluated that request, and that request was denied. The applicant subsequently filed an appeal on December 21st of 2025, and then that was heard in front of the Planning Commission on February 3rd of 2026. The Planning Commission did deny the appeal, and then ultimately the appeal was filed for this public hearing with the City Council. That appeal was filed on February 17th. So on this slide, I went ahead and integrated the progress that the applicant has made towards a permanent facility. It was first in November 15th of 2025 when they submitted what I would characterize as a conceptual drawing to the building division for building permits. It didn't include a full set of plans or structural calculations or any additional information. It was only in February 17th of 2026 when the applicant did submit some of those structural details and plans. No action has been taken on those at this time because fees have not been paid, and they also need to sign a non-fundable or no refund fee authorization form in order to proceed through plan check, because they also have to go through a planning application to get their final building approved. So the tent is only able to be authorized for 180 days based on the California Fire Code. The limitation is really intended to protect the public health and safety because temporary tents do not have long-term safety measures such as fire sprinklers, structural walls, or heating and ventilation systems. So the basis for the appeal from the applicant is shown here. It indicates that they need the tent for fundraising purposes, as well as to continue programs for children in the community without disruption, as well as to allow time to evaluate for permanent solutions. From a staff perspective, we want to acknowledge the efforts that they're taking to help the community, and just to emphasize again that over the past 13 months, we've continually communicated that staff would not be able to support the extension of the tent permit based on the California Fire Code. So here, staff's recommendation would be to deny the appeal and uphold the Planning Commission's decision based on the fire code, and then as well as the life safety limitations associated with the prolonged use of a temporary tent. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
What was the vote of, thank you for your presentation. What was the vote for the Planning Commission?
It was unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you.
I know. Thank you for a concise report, as always. Are they asking for a commitment to use the tent as long as they are working on improvements to the building?
The different appeal forms have had different reasoning and different timelines associated with them. The first was to first use it for 6 more months. Then it changed to just needing it for some additional time while they did fundraising and other matters. And then there was some additional testimony given at the Planning Commission on a different timeline. So I think I would defer that question to the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Noah, what's the condition of the tent right now?
The tent has not been further inspected since it was granted occupancy and use for the site. I do have the fire marshal is present here, Ken King from Heartland Fire, and could speak to kind of the safety aspects of the use of the temporary tent, but we have not been there to look at it since then.
Okay, we'll get there next. So based upon the condition of the building and your experience, I'm not going to hold you to exact times, but can you give me a ballpark figure of how long on average it would take to take the project from where it is now to being inhabitable and fully granted? What would you normally see for something like that?
I think I'll answer slightly differently. I would say the biggest constraint I think involved here is the lack of funding. So the applicant has communicated to me that they are still doing fundraising in order to pay for the property as well as to make these site improvements. So from a building division perspective, we can get that permit issued and we can get them working very, very quickly within 60 to 90 days. But whether or not the applicant is able to follow through with the funding in order to make that happen, I think is the bigger constraint.
Yeah, I hear you, but still, I'm going to press you a little bit further. If all the funding was there, and I would ask you, how long before their doors are open and they're ready to go, what would you expect?
I think it's twofold. So I say the first answer would be if they were just trying to get that building back open and they had a structural engineer came in and shored it up, we could probably have them in there within 90 to 120 days with all the funding in place. They have a more complicated project that includes expanding the building with new structural calculations and new plans. So that's going to be a little bit more complicated. I would guess at this point, based on the fact that we haven't even started with a plan check review, at a minimum, probably 9 months, if not to a year.
Okay.
Is the applicant the owner of the property?
The applicant and I were having a conversation in advance of the hearing, and I know that they are working on finishing off payments through installments, but probably better addressed by the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Tell me a little bit more about the state fire code in this regard.
Just generally at a high level, the state fire code doesn't want the use of temporary tents for more than 180 days, just because they don't have all of those provisions, those safety measures like the fire sprinklers, the solid noise attenuating walls. They don't have, insulation, heating, and ventilation. So they're just not really designed or approved for it to be there for more than 180 days. I could definitely have the fire marshal come down. He spoke at length about that at the Planning Commission hearing, if you would think that would be beneficial.
I think that would be.
Hello, sir.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council Member, City Staff. Ken King, Heartland Fire, Fire Marshal. In short, what's at issue here is one sentence in the fire code that's very clear. It's a statutory requirement saying that these permits can only be issued for 180 days in a 360-day period.
So it doesn't get more clear than that, I guess.
No. So I think the background behind it is that as we look at permanent structures for places of assembly, and I spoke quite a bit at the Planning Commission, so I don't want to take up too much time here, but when we look at assembly occupancies, there's quite a large number of significant fire and life safety features, from fire sprinklers to seismic rating of the walls to size of doors to hardware to a number of items that all come together to provide that safe environment. When we put up a tent, the intent is very clear in the fire code, no more than 180 days.
Total?
Within a 136-day period.
Okay. I'm sorry, 180 days.
Oh, excuse me, sorry. A 365-day period within a year's period.
Okay, so 180 days for each year.
Yeah, within a 12-month period. So the use period is basically says shall not be erected for more than a period of 180 days within a 12-month period on a single premises.
And there's no wiggle room there, no allowing for circumstances, or it's clear?
There's no exceptions in that section of the code.
Okay.
So there's no path forward, or there's not a discretionary approval process for fire. The code section is pretty straightforward for us.
So we're 7 months past that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I think at least.
Okay, well, I have another question, but probably not for you. Any more questions for Fire Marshal? Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
So, Noah, that's a conundrum. So we can only do 180 days in a 365-day period. We've already exceeded that. Where does that put us?
Essentially, the applicant is just they're taking action on their administrative remedies. So they have the ability on the director's determination to appeal that. And so while they've been appealing it and going through this appeal process, we've allowed the tent to remain in place.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but the Fire Marshal, I thought, just said that there's no ability to appeal that.
There's no ability under the fire code to extend that. That's why the permit was denied.
But okay. But what we would be doing is essentially extending that.
Yes, that's what the applicant is asking you to do, is to extend that period.
And you're saying the law prohibits us from doing that?
That's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear about that. All right. Any other questions? Thanks for coming, Noah. I really appreciate that. We have speaker cards on this item?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, let's start.
We do need to open the public hearing as well.
Oh, thank you for telling me. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
It's seconded. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote. And the first speaker is Karen Richards.
Hello, Ms. Richards. You've been patiently waiting.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, and greetings to the council. Like she said, my name is Karen Richards, and I'm here to voice my support of the denial of the extension for the temporary use permit for 6 months. Temporary use permits are intended to be short-term. When they begin to require extensions, it raises an important question about whether the use is actually temporary anymore. What we're seeing here appears to be an ongoing organized use of the property, and in my view, that goes beyond the original intent of a temporary permit. If this use is meant to continue, then it should go through the proper process for a permanent use, with full review, clear conditions, and appropriate public input. Not continue through repeated, temporary, and lengthy extensions. I also think it's important that the city is proactive here. This is a very visible location in El Cajon, and decisions made at this stage set a precedent for how temporary use permits are handled going forward. If this use is established enough to seek extensions, then it may be established enough to go through the proper permanent process. So, temporary should remain temporary. If it's evolving into something more, it should be reviewed as such. In addition to that, I would say that I managed our family's real estate business in El Cajon for many years, and we owned it for about 35 years. And at no time was I granted any leeway in any sort of way and was held to very strict guidelines as to what I could do and what I couldn't do. And I have a lot of examples of that. And with that, I will pass to the next person. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Bakhtar Aminsai.
Hello, Senator.
Good evening, respected Mayor and respected Council member. I am here in the behalf of the Afghan community. As you know, Afghan community is a huge population in this city, and we are the only one who represent the Afghan people in Afghan community here in Cajon. And we have the only one property which had bought last year. Thank you for the giving us the permit of the tent, and thank you for the extension, especially in the month of Ramadan, which is a special month for the Muslim, for the praying. It's our sincere request, because we represent the new arrival refugees, and we are educate them according the law, constitution, rule and regulation of this country and city, and work with them voluntarily. Around more than 100 volunteer members in our community. Our main goal and purpose is to educate them and to direct them the right way, especially those people, those are very unfamiliar and they are not able to talk in English language. As Mr. Mayor has visited 2-3 times to our community and he meet with the people, we really highly appreciate his commitment and his help and giving encourage. Our sincerely request if this tent permit is extend until sometime that we already submit our engineers the renovation of the other building architecture, structure, map. They already submitted to the building department. It's in the process. We want to start work on the original building until, if it's possible, if you people can help us, this tent we can use for this noble purposes. This is our request, and we are committed to start work as soon as process in the city and work on the original building that we can move to the building, which is a big building around 6,000 square feet and 74 parking. The whole lot is around 1 acre area. Thank you for your help. If you have some question, I am here in front of you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Questions?
Are you the owner of the property?
I am the president of the Afghan Community Culture Center.
Okay.
Yeah, so the paperwork is signed by my name, but it's going to this property is not my private property,
Okay.
It's a charity property.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Could you explain about the financing situation? That seems to be one of the biggest concerns, is getting enough money in a timely way to make this project complete. So where are you at right now with financing? How much do you owe? How much do you need to raise, et cetera?
Thank you. Afghan people, those are here in San Diego, they are promised to everyone family is paying $1,000, and the money is coming. Each family is paying monthly $83. We collect until now around $1 million from the people, and we pay $700,000 to the owner of the property. And we bought this property on self-finance for 2 years. In the meantime, we have a backup, one of the financial group, which is in Virginia. They are giving loan to the religious places and charity organization. They are ready to give us. We already in negotiation. If we want, they are giving all of the amount of the property.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Who is doing this for you?
This is one of the Islamic loan company in Virginia.
Oh, okay, so somebody has offered to loan you the money?
Yeah. The remaining balance, $2.1 million. But we are under collecting up funds from the people, and I hope we don't have any difficulty. People is committed to help, because this is the only one place of the Afghan people. Those are coming there, sharing, educate, and talking place and praying.
Okay, so you owe $2.1 million on the property, and then how much do you think it's going to cost to finish the construction?
We hire one of the well-known company of rebuilding their engineering company. The base is in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Sacramento. They are in the assessment now. Maybe they can tell us, but they are telling us maybe around $500,000 for the renovation with everything.
Okay. More questions? Yeah, Steve.
We've heard that state law, not our law, state law, California state law says 180 days in a 365-day period. Are you asking us to not follow state law?
No, I respect. I was a legislator. I was senator. Today, when I attend this meeting, I was very happy to in middle of your people. I never said that you can break the law for us. But if there is a room, if there is a way, you know better. If you can help us until we can renovate the building in a coming a month, like 6 months, 7 months, because we don't have any other opportunity without of this tent.
I'm not seeing a path of any exceptions to state law. Do you see one that I'm missing?
As I told, I respect the law. I respect the rule of the city and constitution, but it's just our simple request.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Michelle?
Are you unable to use the center on Broadway for your services?
Central.
There's a mosque, or maybe not a mosque, but the Islamic Center on Broadway. Are you unable to use that facility?
Unfortunately, it's a very small building.
Right.
And always there is the issue of parking. And as you know, the Muslim community is growing up in this city. So we Afghan, around 3,000 family in Al Cajon, we decided to have our own some special place.
Well, there's also an issue of parking with the spot that you have.
Yeah.
Because received a call from the property manager of the property where Sprouts is located, Sprouts and several other stores there, and calling about, we've told your organization that they can't park there. And I don't know how many people were towed, but they were going to be towing people. So I'm kind of concerned when I know that we're here about the tent, but as you move forward into a permanent structure, I don't think you have enough parking as it is. And I'm just kind of concerned how that's going to impact the neighborhood with the amount of people coming to that small area. Because it's already, even with just a tent, it's already impacting the neighborhood. And again, as everyone else has said, you have 6 months, and in 6 months' time, you had not been able to come forward with permanent plans for the building. And so I'm not sure what more we can do for you, because we've already got state law on it. We've already let you do this unpermitted for 4 months, because the permit expired in November, and here we are almost at the end of March, and that's 4 months. And we've not, as far as I know, we have not asked you to take down the tent. We've not, done anything about it, but I think it's time to take the tent down and possibly find other accommodations for your congregation until you can get the building done. Because at this point, we're beating our heads against a wall. There's no path for us to give you an extension. And so I'm not sure what you want us to do when we can't go across this law. We didn't make it. And yet I don't see the extent of progress for your permanent building. And I understand you're working on it. And I understand that, this is a growing number of people in our city, and that you're trying to provide services for them. And I recognize that, and I think that's a good thing. But there are a lot of things that need to be taken care of, and that is, one, you're already 4 months past.
Yeah, I totally understand. As I mentioned before, thank you from all of the staff, and especially when I'm working with the permit department, Mr. Noah. He's a very respected gentleman, and all of you, I know you did a cooperation with us, and we are thankful. All of the Afghan community is thankful from your help. Coming to the parking lot, we have 74 parking lot, and we are not use all of them every day. Maybe 20, 30 people is coming daily, but only twice in a year. We have 2 Eid, 2 big celebration, which one was last week, and another is coming after 2 months. And this 2 celebration, like a Christmas Day, I visited by myself to the Walgreens, to the Walmart, and I request for 1 hour parking. And they say, oh, yes, you're welcome, because we are the customer of this businesses. As you mentioned, I went by myself and I request and they accept. We don't want to make crowd, but just this 2 days in a year, we have this celebration. And we are committed that we will keep your and requirement of the city in mind.
Well, it's not lost on me, and I want to thank you for investing in El Cajon's residents and doing your best to help the city. So thank you for your efforts in doing that. But as my colleagues said, we've done our best to give you as much time as possible for now. But I do wish you luck in securing financing for the building and all your endeavors.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Mr. Senator. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you, sir, from all. Thank you.
Next speaker is Al Paulus.
Hello, sir.
Afternoon.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Al Paulus, and I am the property owner of the building immediately to the north of the subject property. And with your permission, if I can ask Noah to show the bird's eye view of the photograph of the bird's eye view.
Sure.
Of the property, I can point out what. So where that text box with subject site on it, that's right above our building. And as you can see, of that whole parking lot, that tent is right up against the property line. We could literally, if we could reach through the fence, touch it from our side. And the brief history on this site, we've been there for 26, 27 years now. And ever since it was at Coco's, and they finally went out of business and closed the place. And it soon became a haven for a lot of homeless people, and it fell into disrepair and became somewhat of an eyesore. As a result, we had to fence our property in to keep some of the transients out from our parking lot. And then after that, the construction started on the self-storage place next door, and we had to contend with construction trailer right about where that tent is now for whatever it was, seemed like forever, maybe a year and a half. And when it was finally gone, next thing we know, this thing springs up overnight. And right next to us, aesthetically not pleasing, and they were conducting meetings, services in there, whatever, using loudspeakers, and it was disruptive. So I spoke at the Planning Commission meeting, and I objected to this. I have to say, ever since then, they've actually been quiet. However, I would not encourage you to make any further extension. We've really put up with this for long enough.
Thank you, sir. Just a quick question. What kind of business do you have there?
We have a grocery store there.
Okay.
Grocery business.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming.
Last speaker is Arkan Somo.
Mr. Arkan Somo.
Sir.
Welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Councils, and staff. My name is Arkan Somo, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you today. And I would like to urge you to deny the appeal and uphold the Planning Commission decision made on February 3rd. Just to give you context, my family moved in 2008, few blocks south right off of Hamishaw. And a couple of months ago, I moved into an office right at the corner of Walters and East Madison. So every day, I take Walters, so I drive by the subject property at least twice a day. And what I would like to share with you, in my opinion on the whole thing, is this. The strength of our great country is it protects both freedom and structure at the same time. The First Amendment allows communities to gather, express, and preserve culture, but that freedom does not replace the obligation to meet safety standards that protects everyone. If you separate the two, freedom from compliance, we create risk. If we hold them together, we create stabilities. The decision is not about the value of the culture center. I can tell you I'm 100% supportive of that culture, for the record. It is about whether the same safety standards apply equally. I urge the City Council to uphold those standards and comply with state law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No other speakers, sir.
All right. It's back to the City Council for discussion and/or a motion.
Do we have to close the public hearing?
Oh, yes. Please, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Well, one of the tools or ways I make decisions with these situations is a question I ask myself is, what if everybody did this? What would it look like? What if everybody put up a temporary tent in their parking lot or in their driveway? What would occur? And I appreciate the speaker's comments about in no ways it's a judgment on the work that the organization is doing, but rather setting a standard and upholding a standard for the city. So I'll make a motion. If anybody else doesn't have any comments. Please, yeah.
Of course, yes.
Well, I think Mr. Soma makes some very good points. One of our jobs is, as I see it, is we need to follow the law and also take away the risk from adjacent businesses, because they depend upon us to follow the law so they can make calculated, intelligent decisions to open up their business. And we have to protect them. And I can't knowingly go against the state law. I mean, we've given them a big cushion here for several months, and I don't see sufficient progress to be able to go against the law. So I'm going to uphold the denial.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we uphold the denial of the appeal.
I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded, please vote.
And Mayor, to clarify, that would be adopting the next resolution and order that would deny the appeal.
Yes, what our city attorney said.
With that clarification, please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote.
Okay. All right. Item 9 is consider the fiscal year 2026 through 2027 one-year action plan and approval of resolution to adopt CDBG and home funding allocations. And staff is here to tell us about this.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Yanni Pelayo Brito, and I am the Senior Management Analyst with Development Services Housing Division. The purpose of today's public hearing is to seek public input and the City Council's decisions on CDBG and home allocations for the fiscal year 26-27 action plan, to approve home and home art prior year and carryover funds, and to authorize staff to post the draft action plan for a 30-day public review and comment period. As you know, the 5-year consolidated plan is the city's plan for addressing the needs of El Cajon's low-income community. This is over a 5-year period, and it's using both CDBG and home funds. An action plan is required for each year of the comp plan, and it also requires City Council approval. This plan identifies projects and activities that the city will undertake during that year. That is to address the goals and priorities in the 5-year comp plan in order to allocate funds towards priority community needs. This current action, or the next year's action plan, 26-27, will be the 3rd year of that 5-year plan. All activities in the action plan must meet the comp plan priorities that are listed here. That would be to conserve, improve, and assist the development of affordable housing, homeownership assistance, homelessness, community facilities and infrastructure, community and supportive services, and planning and administration of such programs and projects. A notice of funding availability and application process was published for the development of the action plan. That's to include 26-27 allocations and also prior year unallocated funds. Under CDBG, a total of 6 providers are recommended for public services and 3 projects are recommended for capital improvement projects. Under home funding, housing programs are recommended, and under home art funding, the production of affordable housing is recommended. For fiscal year 26-27 allocations, for CDBG, we are expecting about $1,279,875, And for home allocation, we're expecting about 590,149. HAD has not announced those actual allocations as of today, so we are estimating based on the same funding we received for our current fiscal year. Actual amounts will be reflected once HUD announces those allocations. Also, in addition, we do have an estimated home allocation, including about $3.9 million in home prior year unallocated funds that will also be included in today's presentation, and about $1.8 million in home art funds. That's from prior year funding that I will also be speaking on for recommended for allocation. So I'll go ahead and begin with the CDBG allocations. These staff recommendations are also listed on attachment 1 of the staff report. So I'll begin with planning and administration. There is a 20% cap of the total allocation, and staff recommends funding for administration of those projects and programs for both CDBG and home, and fair housing services through CSA San Diego County for a subtotal of $255,975. For public facilities / capital improvements in the other category, there is no cap, and staff recommends capital improvement projects to include ADA / concrete improvements, neighborhood streetlights, and a traffic calming project. This would be a subtotal of $831,919.
Council, in that traffic calming project is potentially speed humps that we had talked about. So that's a funding source for the speed hump program that you've been talking about.
Thank you. When the actual allocation from HUD is determined, staff recommends adjusting the administration and neighborhood streetlights to receive either excess or a decreased amount depending on the total funds awarded. Continued recommendations under CDBG. For public services, there is a 15% cap of the total grant amount. Staff recommends the following. That would be emergency shelter, senior care coordination program, homeless services, rotational shelter program, home delivered meals, and Meals on Wheels program. This would be for a subtotal for public services of $191,981. This brings a total CDBG allocation for 26-27 fiscal year to $1,279,875. Moving on to home allocations, which are included in the attachment 2. Fund amounts are also listed here, and for home administration, we do have a 10% cap of the total grant amount. For Choto Reserve, we have a 15% minimum that we have to use off of our total grant amount, and the remainder goes to our housing program pool of funds, so we're looking at a subtotal of $590,149. For the housing program pool of funds, this would include our programs that are first-time home buyer, single-family and mobile home rehab programs, and tenant-based rental assistance program. So every year, these funds are earmarked and are used on an as-needed basis. For home allocations, we have our prior year unallocated funds. This is for a subtotal of $3,950,000, and that would be awarding our first-time homebuyer program to the San Diego Housing Commission for a total of $900,000, the tenant-based rental assistance program to Crisis House for a total of $300,000, and for the production of affordable housing to Wakeland Housing for a total of $2,750,000. So for the 26-27 home allocation, including this prior year funding, that would be a total of $4,540,149. I'll go ahead and finish with home ARP allocation recommendations. For home ARP, there is a total of $1,864,127, and staff recommends providing that for the production of affordable housing through Wakeland Housing as well. So for next steps, once approved, staff will prepare and release the draft action plan for a 30-day public review and comment period. That will be released April 1st and will go through April 30th. After the review and comment period, staff will return to City Council for final approval on allocations and to adopt that action plan that's tentatively scheduled for May 12th. And for prior year funds, it would mean to execute those agreements for the set of programs, which is tenant-based rental assistance, first-time home buyer, and affordable housing project. Staff recommendations, that would be for City Council to open the public hearing and receive public testimony, close the public hearing, approve the fiscal year 26-27 action plan allocations to include CDBG and home funding recommendations, home and home art prior year and carryover fund recommendations, and to authorize staff to release the draft plan, and to adopt a resolution for prior year funds, which would be for the tenant-based rental assistance using home funds, first-time home buyer using home funds, and affordable housing using home art funds. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available to answer questions. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Good presentation. Are there questions? Go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Brito, for your presentation. With regard to the distribution of funds, were there any applicants that didn't receive funding, that we just ran out of funding?
Yes, there were some applicants under the CDBG allocation for public services that did not receive funding based on the limited amount.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then the Wakeland housing, where is there a development for Wakeland that, where is Wakeland doing the affordable housing project? Do we know where in the city that's happening?
Where would they do the project?
Yeah. Is there already an area where they're doing the project identified?
No, so today would be to allocate those funds, and the first step would be to work with city staff to look for a location for that project.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
In council, if let's say Wakeland has no ability to find a spot, but we have another qualified developer that could apply for these funds, the council has the opportunity to reallocate those funds to a developer that can use those funds.
Okay, if another developer finds something before Wakeland?
Correct.
Okay.
We're just allocating the money there, but if need to be changed, we can change.
Okay, thank you. Well, they're a big development company, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your report, Yanni. Question, on the first-time home buyer program, that's $900,000, and did I read correctly that last year we had only two participants in the program?
Yes, we did have 2 participants for the last fiscal year. We do have 2 current participants now that have just purchased their homes, and we have about another maybe 2 applicants in the pipeline.
And is that a normal or average?
That is pretty good right now because of the market and the amount of home that applicants are able to afford. So that is a good number.
Oh, no, I think it's a great program, and I've shared this before. We just paid off our house in December, but we bought our house through the El Cajon First-Time Home Buyers Program. And it was extremely helpful because we didn't have any money saved up, and we've been in our house almost 26 years. And so, you know, as a recipient of the program, I thank you for doing that, and it's extremely helpful. And so I'm hoping going forward that we can, you know, maybe get some more money and be able to help more people, because it's super helpful. My other question is, do we know how much it costs for ECTLC to run their emergency shelter?
Right now, with the $100,000 that they applied for, they, I believe, are charging $60 a night for the emergency shelter.
Okay. And are any other cities contributing to that? Do you know?
I don't know if they receive funding from other cities.
Okay. Do we have a representative here from ECTLC?
I believe ECTLC.
Oh, in the back.
Yes.
But you take people from all over. Okay, that might be something that we should be looking at. I think if ECTLC, which is fine, they're taking people from other cities, but we should not be doing all the funding.
You know, let's.
Okay.
I'll have you come up, sir, after this this testimony, and then we'll. So you're not yelling back and forth.
And then as far as HUD goes, is that in regards to like the Section 8? The HUD funding?
We do not have any Section 8 programs here at the City of El Cajon.
Okay.
We do not administer that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any more questions for Yanni? All right, thank you. Again, nice presentation. Now, Michelle, did you want to have more conversation with the ECTLC person?
If that's possible, please.
Mayor, can we open the public hearing at this point?
Yes, we can. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
So I'm Skylar Phillips, our outreach director, and I can answer your question
Hold
directly.
on one second. Let's just get through with this. Please vote. Sorry, we have procedures.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
All right, thank
Okay.
you for your patience.
Now, floor is yours.
So I'm Skylar Phillips, our outreach director. I'm actually a product of the program. I went through the program and was hired as full-time staff. But what these funds allow us to do is it allocates rooms specifically for El Cajon and El Cajon Police Department so that we have availability 24/7. So whenever you drop off someone, there will always be availability and always be rooms available specifically for El Cajon. So for everyone else, if they're not funding emergency housing, it's a first come, first served basis.
Okay.
For El Cajon, these funds allow us to allocate multiple beds that will only be used for El Cajon emergency housing.
Do you have any stats on that? I'm just kind of curious, do we have any stats as far as how many beds for El Cajon?
I believe it's starting with 4 rooms, and there's 4 beds per room.
So that'd be a total of 16 people, okay? And your policy is still a 3-day before, making a decision whether to go to the program or not?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, that's all I had.
Of course.
Hold on a second. Let me see if there's any other questions for you since you're here. Okay, thank you for coming. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Okay, do we have speaker cards?
Yes, sir, I have 4. First one is from Rebecca Rader.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and esteemed council. My name is Rebecca Rader. I'm with Voices for Children. We're the CASA organization for San Diego County. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates, and basically we work with the 2,500 children that sadly are put into the foster care system each year. We train volunteers. They go through 35 hours of training, and then they're matched with a child in the system. And these children have been removed due to no fault of their own, but because their parents can't take care of them. So we train people that then kind of guide them through the system, who listen to their hopes and dreams, investigate their lives, see if they need help medically or in school or help for trauma. We had submitted a CDBG grant, and we're not on the list. Very admirable groups that you are funding. I would just ask that should more funding open up through HUD, that you consider our request. And if not, we'll be back next year, and we appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You know what? You all are doing very good work.
Thank you.
This is always the hardest time of year for me. There's so many needy people, organizations, and great organizations. We love to help everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Andrea Aslan.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for their time, Mayor and council members. My name is Andrea Oslin, and I'm here on the behalf of Elder Help of San Diego and our clients that we serve in El Cajon. If you're not already familiar with Elder Help, we've been around for over 50 years, and we provide personalized, comprehensive services for seniors who are primarily low income. And the program that we have applied for CDBG funds is our Coordination Care Program, which begins with an assessment of the individual, and from that we create a care plan that can include one or an assortment of services, including food pantry deliveries to combat the food insecurity that seniors are experiencing. For those that are able to get out, we do grocery shopping assistance. We also provide rides to medical appointments and do home safety modifications, things like grab bars and railings to keep people safe and prevent falls. And almost more importantly, we do friendly visiting to combat the loneliness and isolation that so many seniors are experiencing. We have tracked, we track everything, but we have experienced a greater than 30% increase in service requests for our clients, and one of the greatest needs that we're seeing is transportation in the seniors that we serve in El Cajon. So with the demand that's growing, we're so grateful for your support, because we want to make sure that we can always say yes to those who are in need. And our services, as we can report that we have wonderful outcomes. Our clients are 8 times less likely to experience a fall and 12.5 times less likely to be hospitalized than the county average, which allows them to stay in their homes 8 years longer than the national average, which is very important. It's a real impact for real people. So we thank you for your continued support and recommendation for our funding.
Thank you very much for coming.
Next speaker is Stella de los Rios.
Hello, welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Deputy Mayor, and council members. First, I'd like to acknowledge the gratitude that we have for all your support all these years. With the funding, we've been able to assist many clients, tenants, landlords, management companies, and many times it's just a matter of communication. When you'd be surprised how many tenant-landlord disputes there are, management disputes, and we have 4 counselors that mediate and educate both sides on their rights and responsibilities. So with that said, it's prevented a lot of homeless families from being homeless, and this is our pride and joy that we are able to decrease that number, because as you know, homelessness is an issue not just in the city, but entire county and nationwide. With that said, also the funding has given us an opportunity to give some education to the disabled, to the veterans, to single-family homes, and it enables and empowers the communities. So I'd like to thank you for your ongoing support, and here again to also acknowledge that this funding also accomplishes the consolidated plan. And just recently, we received 3 federal funds, 3 federal funded grants to do more fair housing and to do testing, not just in El Cajon, but the entire region of San Diego. And we're the only fair housing agency in San Diego County, so I'm very proud of that. And we're located in El Cajon. So thank you very much, Mayor and Deputy Mayor and Council. And if you have any questions, please. Yes.
Stella, thank you so much. I know that I've referred a handful of residents over to your agency for help, you know, that they were having issues with their tenant or with the landlord, and they never came back. So apparently you took care of them, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
No, thank you. I know we receive a lot of calls from code enforcement and from Mr. Dorado as well, so we're very proud of that.
Yeah, I also want to thank you, Stella. You actually helped out a family in my neighborhood that came to me, and I referred them to you. Same with Michelle. I didn't hear afterwards, and I know even though we were political opponents, I'm more than happy to, and thank you to all the work you do in the community, because they were in the landlord was not a ethical person, to say the least, and we need an organization like you. And I know things are tightening in the economy, and it's going to get hard for a lot of people, and I don't know that it's going to get much better anytime soon. But so as the other speaker said, there's going to be increase in calls, and so yeah, we need good people like you with good hearts who are going to keep looking out for people. So thank you.
It's all about working together. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
The last speaker is Tim Ray.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much. First of all, I just want to thank you so much for considering Meals on Wheels for the 26-27 grant. All of you over the years have had the opportunity, taking time out of your busy schedule, to do ride-alongs with our volunteers, so you witness firsthand the impact that Meals on Wheels has with our clients. Meals on Wheels were more than a meal. Clients are always hungry for food, but they're starving for connection, and it is our volunteers that actually fill that void. Many of our clients, they have no families, no friends, and no connection with their neighbors. So a lot of our clients actually, the only reason they get out of bed and get dressed every day is because they know a volunteer is going to show up, not only to provide them with a healthy meal, but more importantly, actually to ask them how their day is going. So I can't thank you guys enough for your continued support, and more importantly, also for supporting these other wonderful organizations that are doing great work in the community. So I thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I just wanted to thank you for what you do, and I think it's important we help take care of our senior citizens, and you're right. I think that personal interactions is so important, and plus giving them healthy meals. So again, thanks. You're much appreciated.
I appreciate you guys for supporting us and recognizing the importance of Meals on Wheels and these other organizations in the community. So thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks for coming, sir. That's the last one. I can make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
Okay. We can have discussion, but I'm guessing at this point we're ready for a motion.
This is a question to the city attorney. It looks like, based off the staff report, can these all be lumped together or need to go individually?
I believe they are all listed in the resolution, but I will defer to staff on that question if they are.
We'll say Eduardo Housing Manager. So the first item is just the public hearing for the action plan, and then the resolution are other items related to the action plan, which includes approval of the prior year funding allocations.
Okay, so then
Two separate motions.
two separate
then.
motions. So I'll make it. My first motion will be to adopt the resolution as outlined in the staff report.
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
And then my second motion will be to accept the staff recommendation for projects and programs using FY 2026, 2027 CDBG and home grant funds and home ARP prior year unallocated funds and a carryover funds.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
And my last motion would be to authorize staff to release the draft 26-27 one-year action plan for 30-day review and comment period from April 1st to April 30th.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
We have two administrative reports on today's agenda. Item 10 is the acceptance of Wells Park Pickleball Project. And I'd like to ask staff to tell us about this. Hello, welcome.
Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and staff. I'm Sinan Kachi with the Engineering Division of Development Services. Item 10 before you today is to consider acceptance of the Wells Park Pickleball Project. So back in November of 2024, the City Council awarded a construction contract to Southwest Construction Services for just over $1.9 million. This ARPA-funded project includes 5 lighted courts, shade structures, a hydration station, a fully renovated Welcome Center Pro Shop, new landscaping, and irrigation. Southwest Construction began work in February of 2025 and completed all work in January of this year. While we were able to hold the opening ceremony just a few months ago and get people playing, we were still working through lots of small items throughout the project area these last couple months. So here's the final Pro Shop, which is located in Wells Center, adjacent to the new courts. The Pro Shop allows visitors to register for the Pro membership, which is $50 annually. This provides access to the new indoor restrooms, and they can also purchase drinks, snacks, or even pickleball gear. Our Parks and Recreation Department reports 240 active memberships. That's after only 4 months in operation. These next few slides will simply be the public enjoying El Cajon's completely free pickleball courts. In my conversations with some of the players, we definitely have visitors from all over the county. As expected, the courts are extremely busy and have become an active recreation catalyst for Wells Park, so really activating that corner of the park and then the park as a whole. Lighting is set to come on 30 minutes daily prior to sunset. And then we close up shop at 9 p.m., but at 8:30 we have those lights ramped down to about 80%. 8:45 we bring them down to 50%, and then finally shut off at 9. That helps rec staff just kind of get everyone out of there, and we want to be a good neighbor to the apartments next door as well. So here's another recent photo during the morning. Courts are busiest in the evening, and we also have a morning rush, but there's a steady crowd throughout the day. Another perk of the Pro membership is you can reserve one of those 5 courts, which is at the far end of the complex against Madison Avenue, and that court is pretty booked out pretty consistently. And I'm happy to report the city's new pickleball complex is award-winning already. The California Parks and Recreation Society recognized the courts as a Parks Make Life Better facility, and will recognize the city of El Cajon on April 7th.
Wonderful.
So I check in with our Parks and Rec staff frequently to understand how the courts are operating. Player feedback has been extremely positive. We hear the surface and quality of the courts and nets is all outstanding. After storms, lots of other courts retain water, just like little ponding throughout the area. Our drainage is doing excellent, so visitors are able to get back in the game almost immediately. Parks and Rec is looking at programs for the space, such as mini tournaments, instructional classes for the community, but we're giving those about 1 year to have the courts open for free play, and then looking at programming opportunities in the future. With that, I have staff's recommendation to accept the project, and I'm available for any questions.
Thanks. Great report. Appreciate that. Any questions? All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Do you have any speaker cards on this item?
No speaker card, sir.
Okay. It's back to council. I can't imagine anybody not being excited about this. So would you, anybody like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept Wells Park Pickleball Project. It's a mouthful. And authorize the city clerk to record a notice of completion and release the bonds in accordance with contract terms.
All right, please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
The last administrative report, item 11, is regarding the fire station number 7 renovation grant. And staff will tell us about this.
All right, hello again, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, you're
Sinan
back.
Kachi, I'm back.
You do
Never
everything.
left. So item 11 before you today is to consider acceptance of a grant coming to the city, as well as considering adding general fund reserves to the project, to the construction budget. So Station 7 is located in Fletcher Hills at 695 Tyrone Street. The 3,500 square foot structure was built in 1960 and sits on roughly a quarter acre. Heartland Fire and Rescue operates one engine from Station 7 and typically stores one AMR ambulance at the back. We've got an average of 3 firefighters working at this site per day. The station currently has one large room for sleeping quarters and one communal restroom, both of which are adjacent to that current apparatus bay. So here we show the existing structure at the top and the proposed structure below. Right off the bat, it's easy to see we're going from one garage to 2. So the station is expanded to 2 properly sized apparatus bay. In the short term, there will still be only one engine and one ambulance operating from the station. However, long-term planning by Heartland could potentially have 2 engines at this site. The roof line is raised by several feet, and the garage doors are widened significantly, eliminating the existing narrow and low headroom conditions. We'll construct individual sleeping rooms, individual bathrooms, a turnout locker room, standard laundry equipment, a new kitchen, day room, and expand their existing patio area. It's important to mention the structural components of this project. Many of the 1960 original block walls don't meet current code, and they'll be completely replaced, in fact, demoed down to the floor foundations and replaced with light frame options like metal or wood. The concrete floor slabs where the engine is currently parked will go from about 4 to 5 inches thick to 10 inches thick. So this has been a very complex project, considering the terrain of the site and determining the best way to properly accommodate the new engines as well as our staff. We even spent some time early in the design process looking at different properties. Should we relocate the fire station entirely? But ultimately, the council and staff determined that we'll rebuild at this location. And I know the council has been concerned with the progress of this project, but we've spent a lot of time really getting into the fine details, all the way from the apparatus bay and sizing down to choosing appliances or working with the Heartland Fire Committee to look at the storage areas to accommodate all the shift changes. So there's a lot to it, and we've been working diligently on that. So we'll discuss some of the finances of the project now. The City Council adopted the project in fiscal year 22 and allocated the remainder of voter-approved Prop O funding for public safety buildings. That was just over $3 million, and the portion set aside for construction was the 2.6 figure you see at the first line there. In June of last year, the City Council authorized staff to apply for a Proposition 4 wildfire prevention grant through the San Diego River Conservancy. We prepared an extensive application presented to the Conservancy's governing board just past January, and that resulted in securing $1.5 million for the fire station. So that's the second line. So just this slide's a little busy, but emphasize here, the current budget is the first and second lines, so the 2.6 and the 1.5. So we roll into the bottom line there. We have a current construction cost estimate of about $5.5 million. So we're still facing a $1.4 million shortfall after the Prop O allocation, after the grant. So for this reason, staff requests council's consideration of appropriating $2.5 million of general fund reserves to complete the project. So that $2.5 million covers the $1.4 million shortfall. It gives us a contingency for construction issues encountered, unforeseen conditions, and then it also gives us a 10% contingency for the bidding period, which is coming up very soon here. And then we'll just give a brief history of the project, what we've done and what's up next. So we acquired the architect in late 2022, and we completed design work last month. That includes submitting all of the construction documents to the city's building department. We went back and forth, had all of their comments incorporated. We also presented the project to the city's planning commission back in 2024 to amend an existing CUP. That's because we're increasing the size of the structure. And then we'll bid the project next month and receive bids in May. So pending council's direction today and the bidding process, we anticipate construction beginning later this year, at which point Heartland Fire will redirect staff to other locations. That could be Station 9 off Marshall, it could be Station 12 in La Mesa, potentially, and we'll shut down that facility for a good period while we perform finally the necessary improvements to this 1960s structure. And then I have staff's recommendation. It's pretty lengthy, but generally speaking, this authorizes or accepts the grant from the San Diego River Conservancy, authorizes our city management team to execute that grant, and then there's the request to appropriate $2.5 million of general fund reserve to the project. That's my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Questions? No. Thank you. Okay. Do we have speaker cards on this item?
There are no speaker cards, sir.
Graham, I just want to talk to you, make sure that this $2.5 million out of the general fund is something that your staff feels comfortable with.
Yeah, it's out of the general fund reserve. Well, one, it's the only way to fund it. If we don't take it out, then the project doesn't move forward. It gives us some contingency, and if there is residual money left over, which is the ultimate goal, that money would stay back in the CIP, which we have not funded for years. So that at least has some money back into the capital improvement plan that we can fund other projects.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, council, it's back to us for discussion and or a motion.
Public safety is our top priority, so I think this is a great staff recommendation.
I did a ride along with the fire department a while ago, and I jokingly said that the engineers that drive those fire trucks should apply for the space program, because backing up the fire truck into that building is the equivalent of difficulty as docking with the International Space Station, because you have about 4 inches of space. So I think this council, and thank you for staff's recommendation, is happy to invest in our firefighting crew. And so I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution, all 4 points outlined in the staff report.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded, please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
Thanks. Again, nice report on both.
You know, Mr. Kachi, he goes between pickleball and fire stations.
That's
He's a man of many talents.
That's right. What's next?
Although he's an expensive guy to have around. He always wants to spend a bunch of money. All right, there are no commission reports on today's agenda. Item 12 is my activities report, which is as reported. And then we're at the activities reports of council members. We'll start with Councilmember Kendrick.
As reported.
Deputy Mayor Mitchell.
As reported.
Councilmember Ortiz.
As reported.
Okay. That means there are no general information items on today's agenda. Item 18 is the introduction of an ordinance to amend the El Cajon Municipal Code for bidding and written contracts, and I'll ask staff to introduce this item.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, distinguished members of the City Council. My name is Clay Shane. I'm the Finance Director for the City of El Cajon. Today, I'm here to present to you some proposed updates to the El Cajon Municipal Code, specifically those addressing the procurement thresholds. In today's presentation, I'll briefly introduce the topic, go over the proposed changes to the municipal code, touch on some of the benchmarking we did, and then hopefully we can move on to introducing the ordinance. There are a number of sources that govern how the city procures the goods and services it uses on a regular basis. Today, we will only be addressing those established by our own municipal code. We last updated this information in June of 2019. Since that time, CPI has increased 28%. That's the primary reason we are seeking this adjustment to these thresholds. Primary reason we do that is to allow our limited resources to focus on the larger and more complex procurements and move away from the hustle and bustle of the smaller things associated with our operations. Want to make it clear that this is purely defining the method of procurement. It does not water down or change the City Council's budgetary control or authority in any way. It also does not change any of the capital authorization policies we already have, specifically City Council Policy B1 that requires City Council approval of capital expenditures over $25,000. This chart shows, actually it summarizes the language of the municipal code pretty efficiently. We refer to that as the procurement matrix or just the matrix. For this version, the black numbers represent the existing thresholds. The proposed changes are in blue. As your eyes drift across these, you can see we've kind of just ratcheted up each of those by what we feel is a reasonable amount. There is one change, though, that I do want to draw your attention to and describe an example that kind of sets some of the other controls that are still in place. That's primarily the change in the top right-hand corner of the chart between the 3 quotes and the formal bid requirements for supplies. We are looking to increase the formal bid requirement from $75,000 to $200,000. To give you an example, if we have a piece of equipment in use for operations that costs $75,001, and it needs to be replaced regardless that's from a collision, it broke unexpectedly, or in its emerging need, we would currently have to make a trip to council to seek additional appropriations for that purchase. We would also need to seek council's authority to buy the thing, the capital authorization. And then if we proceeded under the current guidelines to the formal bid process, which often can take many weeks to conclude, we would have to return again for award. So in that particular instance, by changing that threshold, we would still have to return to council for the appropriation. We would still give the council to authorize the purchase. We just don't have to wait the 16 weeks. We can simply go out, get 3 quotes for the equipment, and move on with it. We feel that that'll significantly increase those the timeline on those kind of acquisitions, and frankly, council's already seeing it, so it's kind of a little bit redundant as far as the oversight on those. We did a significant amount of benchmarking before we proposed these threshold changes. The professional body in California that governs this kind of work is the California Association of Public Procurement Officers. They produced a report a few years ago now where we voluntarily submitted answers to this kind of work throughout the state. We selected a number of cities that we thought kind of compared to us roughly in scope and size, just to see if we were, continuing to be in the same ballpark. We excluded the large cities in the state, the San Diegos, the Long Beaches, Los Angeles, San Francisco. These same thresholds exist for them, but they're in the millions of dollars instead of the hundreds of thousands. Likewise, we excluded the small cities in the state where these might be tens of thousands of dollars. And mainly we wanted to include these just for reference, that we are not out of touch with the herd in general. I think these are still fairly conservative thresholds that we seek. So that concludes the presentation. If the council is in agreement with these proposals, we would ask that, or recommend that the city council introduces and conducts the first reading of the ordinance and direct the city clerk to read the title of the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Clay. I appreciate it. Let me see if there's any questions for you before you go. Are there any questions for Clay? Thank you, Clay. Nice report. Okay. Do we have any comments on this? Any speaker cards?
No speaker cards, sir.
Okay. Seems pretty straightforward. Looking for a motion or more discussion if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll move to introduce and conduct the first reading of the ordinance by title only and to amend the various sections of the municipal code related to bidding and written contracts. And I would ask the city clerk to read the title of the ordinance. And point of order, can you reset my voting? I got fat fingers.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. You threw everybody off with that finger comment.
Just make sure everyone's awake in the room.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present, and the title of the ordinance reads, an ordinance amending various sections of Chapter 3.20 of Title 3 of the El Cajon Municipal Code addressing bidding and written contracts.
Okay. All right, there are no readings of second. There are no second readings of ordinances today. And we have already done closed session.
We do have one more item
What am I
of
missing?
closed session.
Oh, we have another closed session item. I see. I'd like to ask the city attorney then to lead us into closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council will meet in closed session on item number 19, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.91, potential case.
All right. I'd like to make a motion then to adjourn the closed session.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to closed session. We'll be back in a few minutes to conclude the meeting. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always unsure.
I know nothing.
muddy the waters, I think, to come back and say if. And then also, okay, I'd like to ask our city attorney to report on the actions taken in closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council met on item 19 in closed session. For the record, Councilmember Ortiz recused himself from the discussion, so it was just the 3 council members remaining for the discussion. Direction was given, no reportable action was taken.
Thank you. This brings us to adjournment, the adjourned regular joint meeting of the El Cajon City Council, El Cajon Housing Authority, and successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency, held this 24th day of February 2026, is adjourned until Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 at 3 o'clock p.m.